the channel. Today we're going to be working on this 2009 Jeep Patriot, and we're going to be lowering it by putting coilovers on it front and rear. I know a lot of people think that lowering a Jeep is blasphemous, or you just shouldn't lower a Jeep, but this vehicle is actually the same as a Dodge Caliber, so it's really like lowering a car. It's 4-cylinder, front-wheel drive, it's not an all-wheel drive, so it's really hard to even call it a Jeep. So we're going to go ahead and put coilovers on this. I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'll also have a link in the description below where you can buy the same coilovers that I'm putting on this right now. For installing these coilovers, we're going to go ahead and start in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and move the coilovers out of the way. I'll get these panels where we can access the 2 bolts from the top, and then I'll get the car jacked up so we can get to the parts underneath. So that side was pretty easy to get out. I'm going to go ahead and get this side. So now we have access to these bolts up here, the nuts up here. So now we'll go underneath and see what we need to do down there. So as you can see, I've already got the wheel off. This is the nut we'll be taking off. We'll push that bolt through. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top and get those nuts off up there, and then we'll come back. I'm going to do both sides at the same time, and then we'll get these old coilovers out. So these top bolts are 15. That should get us there. I'll just put those on there so they don't drop on us. So this might be under a little bit of tension. Yep. Not much, I don't think. I don't know if you can see, this didn't fall on us because I left that nut on up there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. I'll let you see it drop from here. Just going to pull these bolts off here. That fits. That fits. that was easy. Alright, now let's pop this out of there. Bang! Yeah. Alright, let's go take a look at the difference between the old and the new. Well, here we go. They are pretty much identical. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It looks like we're probably, before putting weight on them, I would say about 5 inches shorter here. I don't know, I think I'm going to throw them on and see how far that pushes the wheel up into the wheel well. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the other side off, and then we'll cut to put the new ones in. Alright, so I got the other side on, and on the other side I was able to start these bolts, or start these nuts from holding the coilover with one hand and reaching around and getting the other one, or reaching around and getting the bolt started. So I'm gonna try that again. This one's got a little bump out on it that might keep me from getting to it, because it wasn't super easy to get to the other side. Interesting. I didn't have that problem on the other side. Actually, this will make it a whole lot easier. Let's put the screwdriver right there, and now I can just put the bolts on. So now we're going to get this trailing arm back. So because I've got the other side hooked up, I think it's trying to pull this up. Not a problem. We can work through that. So what I'm doing here is the bushings in this trailing arm are a little loose, if you will. So I'm using this to line up the other side so I can get the bolt started. So for the moment, I'm not really doing any adjustments to these. I am gonna, once I get the bolt in, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up, and then we'll, once we get it set down, the front and the back, then I'll go through and adjust anything that needs adjusted. I'm gonna put the bolt in for the shock, using the same method I used previously. Get the nut on here. Gonna tighten this collar around the bottom shock body, coilover body. And then we'll go up top, we'll pull these tight at the very top, put the wheel on, and set the back down. We'll probably go ahead and put the body panels back in, or the interior panels back in, before we set it back down. So we're going to go ahead and get started on getting the front lowered, and we'll hop into that right now. Alright, here we are. We got the wheel off already, and we're going to start preparing to take the strut out. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and get the brake line and the speed sense, or speed control. I think that's what this is, or the ABS sensor, one or the other. I'm going to get it out of the way. And then we've got a sway bar end link that needs to come loose. So I will go ahead and start pulling some bolts. These right here are 13 millimeter. And then the sway bar end link is probably going to be a 15. Nope. 17. Really surprised that worked out. Alright, and so then we've got two more, and that's going to be these holding the main strut to the knuckle, and that's a 21. I'm going to pull the jack under here to make it take some tension off of this. So we're going to go to the top side and take the 3 bolts out under the hood. Alright, these up here are a 15 millimeter. I'm going to take this back one out first just because it's kind of tucked away. And I can't use the impact on it, so that's no fun. We'll do all these by hand. here's the old one. Grab the new one real quick. So here's the new one, and we're going to make sure when we put it in that the camber adjustment is running side to side. So that will need to be with this nut facing forward, and then we'll do some adjustments underneath. So I am seeing a problem right off, and that is that the adjustments are not really there if we need to move it much. I'm going to leave it the way it is, and then if I need to, I'll come back and I'll clearance these areas where we might need to adjust for the camber. What do you think? I have no idea. Alright, and then I'll get the sway bar inline attached, and I'll get this tightened up. The other side I might have to get done before I can do the sway bar inline. Alright, so I've got the other side done. We've got well, I'm at this point. So I got the sway bar inline high enough that I can go ahead and put the nut back on, tighten it up, and then put the wheel on. And then we can lower it. Alright, so I just got back from driving the Jeep for the first time after lowering it completely, and it drove pretty well. Obviously it's stiff like you would expect from a car on coilovers. So let's see what the results are.